Good afternoon. Today we are going to be making a vanilla brown sugar latte coffee drink sort of thing. Today I decided to have a little bit of fun and explore different coffee options, so let's get into it. Today we're going to try to make that vanilla brown sugar latte sort of coffee drink in two versions, hot and cold. It is about almost 100 degrees. It's supposed to be about 102 today at where I live, so it's gonna be pretty hot outside, so an iced coffee will be wonderful. Let's start off with figuring out what type of equipment I'm gonna need or gonna experiment with. First of all, I already brewed up some Pike Place roast. I think about like a cup, rather 2 cups of it, right here in just a regular coffee machine. Yeah, so that's the Pike Place, just the normal grocery store sort of stuff. I will be using this French press to froth milk later on. I have a thing of vanilla syrup, Torani, and then I have just some reduced fat, 2% vitamins A and D milk. And then I have brown sugar and a pan to make my brown sugar sauce. And then I will be placing my iced coffee beverage into that, and then just a mug for the hot version. So let's get into it. To begin with, I will be putting a little bit of this Pike Place roast into a cup here to put into the refrigerator to cool it off because it's hot and this is supposed to be an iced drink. So here we are, maybe just a little bit more. Let's go like about that much, I think. Off to the refrigerator it goes to cool off and to be ready to be an iced drink. And then we'll get going on the hot drink shortly. Now we move our attention to the stovetop. We're going to be making our brown sugar sauce, or syrup rather. I have my brown sugar and a little bit of water. And I will be putting about 1-to-1 ratio of brown sugar to water. So about 1 tablespoon of brown sugar to 1 tablespoon of water, and seeing how much I will need to make enough to make for 2 drinks, both the iced version and the hot version. Alright, so I have my syrup. I ended up using 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And since my stovetop cooks really fast, it's a convection oven or convection stovetop. It was done in literally 30 seconds, essentially. The consistency is kind of watery, but I think it's going to be really good for the coffee. We'll see how it turns out. On to the next step. Alright, so I have my brown sugar syrup here. I have a cup that I'm going to use for my hot beverage, hot coffee, and I have my vanilla syrup. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put about a tablespoon, just a little less, about, of the brown sugar syrup and the vanilla syrup, each respectively, into the cup at the very bottom. And then I'm going to add my coffee. And then I'm gonna let that sit while I make my frothed milk. Now, to make each recipe equal, I will be using half a cup of milk in the frother, both for the iced and hot coffee. So I put half a cup in here. Let me just, and I pumped it about 17 times. Pretty nice consistency. Let me see, maybe put this right here really gently. Now I'm gonna pour this on top of my coffee. Oh, look at that. Oh, here we are. Wow, that's awesome. Now we're gonna let that sit. That is about our hot coffee. I may add a little bit of whipped cream at the top for fun. But let's move on to the iced coffee so then we can get that going, so then we can compare the two. Alright, so I took the coffee out of the fridge. It was not completely cold yet, still a little bit warm, but we'll make the best out of it. I put about the same amount of syrup, each syrup, into this cup, and then I put the coffee in from the refrigerator, and I actually stirred it a little bit. Since this is going to be an iced coffee, it's kind of hard to stir syrups into the consistency of the coffee and make it flavorful when it's cold. So now I'm gonna let that sit just for a little bit and then add some ice cubes and then put the milk that has been frothed on top. All right, so I put ice cubes into the coffee and I made the milk to the right consistency, and I'm gonna pour the milk that went through the frother into the cup. Now we have a hot version and an iced version. And I'll be trying them out shortly. I'm gonna give both of them a little bit of a mix first because I don't want to be just drinking straight up milk from the top. And I'm gonna add to both a little bit of whipped cream and see how that goes. So let's try them out. Okay, so I added a little bit of Land O'Lakes whipped cream into both, and here we go. Let's try the hot version first. Let's see. Pretty good. Coffee's a little bit strongly brewed, but that's kind of what I was going for. Pretty good. Kind of cooled down a little bit, but it's not quite iced. So let's try the iced now. Okay, after trying both versions, I would say the hot coffee has definitely more flavor for coffee and the different flavors in general, versus this one's just like pretty refreshing and kind of, you know, you can still feel the flavor, but it's a little bit toned down because of the ice and because of the coolness of it. But both of them are pretty awesome, pretty good. I recommend this to anybody who may want to try out a new recipe, or they may want to have fun in the kitchen as well. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching. It didn't take me very long to make both drinks, so I recommend if anybody is like a little bit pressed on time as well. But hope this video was enjoyable, and I look forward to possibly making more of these type of videos. Thank you again. Bye-bye.